Thank you, Ralph. We'll call the meeting of the Norwalk WPCA regular meeting of May 15th, 2023 to order. It's 5:30. Item number 2 is approve the meeting minutes of the WPCA meeting held on April 17th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Mr. Manella gets it. Any comments, corrections, revisions? I couldn't find one typo, Daleen. Anybody else? All in favor? Aye. Manella, Ostafine, Bovee, Burnett, and Ms. Smith?
I need to abstain.
You're going to abstain. Okay. That passes with one abstention. Mrs. Smith, thank you. And now that concludes the business portion of the meeting. Item number 3, contract operations reports. Staff, please proceed.
Good evening. This is Matt Brown,
Matt.
the recently promoted project manager. This will be my first time presenting, so thank you.
You
So
got it.
April highlights, Veolia collection system team completed over 2 miles of TV inspection, along with cleaning of over 3.9 miles, almost 4 miles. We completed 180 manhole inspections in the month of April, and also 5.1 miles of SL rat. Our IPP program, inspection program, conducted 34 inspections. Regulatory events, the last 2 days of the month it was a pretty quiet month until then. We had a significant rain event. We experienced flows exceeding 30 MGD, and we did activate the outfall 002 for a duration of 58 minutes. The facility maintained 30 MGD full treatment throughout the event, and the facility was in compliance with all permit requirements for the month of April. And the net DMR, MOR, and NAR reports were submitted to CT Deep and EPA. Relatively quiet month overall, regulatory-wise and operations. We averaged 11.5 MGD for the month of April. In the previous 6 months, we've averaged 12.2 million gallons per day for the last 6 months. Couple highlights I wanted to point out. Our survey of Webster Lot has completed. We did finish the smoke testing, and we are expecting to receive the full report from the smoke testing of Webster Lot at the latest early next week. Last week, that was conducted in April. Last month, we talked about a catch basin disconnection program on Seaview and Osborne. That will be completed by the end of this week. They did phase 1 last week, and they're this week going to connect the catch basin to the storm system beginning tomorrow. We also talked about a few large projects happening at the plant. If I could share my screen real quick, I will show you some pictures from these projects. Let's see if I can. And everybody see that? Sorry, I'm starting. Here we go. So we talked about a blend tank, sludge blend tank projects. We've talked about that off and on for about a year now, because when we originally planned on coating these tanks, the people that were sandblasting blew through the side of them. And if you look at this picture here, you can see the holes in the side of the tank. And this is a large piece. They began construction last week, repairs. They cut out a large piece, and you can see on the inside some of the support beams need to be replaced as there's holes and corrosion throughout. So these are some pictures of, this is blend tank number 1. And then another project we have going on is final clarifier number 1. What you see here are the large skimmer arms that skim the fats, oil, and greases, or scum as we call it, off the top. As you can see, they're being sent out for much needed metal repair, powder coating, and then they'll be reinstalled once we get those back. It's about a 2 to 3 week turnaround. One of the other large projects we have going on, we spoke about, is the West Gravity Thickener. These gravity thickeners handle our primary sludge. Both of them are having some major issues, so we are currently operating out of one. And what you see here is a large beam that basically holds up the entire structure. And because of the age of it and the corrosive atmosphere, what you can see here is that beam on the inside, it's actually resting on, it's metal on metal. So the moving parts were no longer moving. So that repair is underway, and we expect all these repairs to be finished by July 1st. So with that, I don't have much else for the contract operations. I'd like to open the floor for any questions. Let me unshare.
Anybody have any questions? No questions. Let's move on to 4 reports.
The first item under reports is the fiscal year 22-23 revenues expenditures munis report. A copy of that is included. If there are any questions on that.
Any questions for Nellie on the expenditure report? No.
Item B, discussion on sanitary sewer billing for fiscal year 23-24. WPCA staff plans to have a final file completed later this week for the tax collector's office for the sewer billing. So First District Water and SNUA provide their water data, and we continue to incorporate that into our sewer tax manager software, and just doing quality assurance and quality control to make sure that the billing is as good as it's going to be for billing purposes. So that's been ongoing. Item C, discussion on WPC engineering projects. Item 1, the water pollution control facility plan update. The team, Veolia, WPCA, Veril, we've all reviewed a preliminary draft report. We've been reviewing sections along the way, and we provide all the comments back to Arcadis, and they're working on incorporating those comments into a final draft report. And once the team reviews that later this month, what we like to do is early June, set up a special meeting with the WPCA board to share the draft report with the board and get your feedback. And from there, we would look to do a present at the normal June meeting to the public.
Thanks, Ralph. I just want to add one thing, just to remind everyone that we have a deadline to file this by June 30th. So that's why we would like to do a special meeting in advance, just to do a draft presentation. And then if you guys have any questions or concerns, we'll be able to address by our June meeting. That is on the 20th, is scheduled for the 20th. So this way it can be voted on the 20th and we can submit by the deadline.
The special meeting be in place of the regular meeting?
Adding to.
Added to. Okay. Thanks.
We do not have a date yet because we just need to get to a very close final draft. But as soon as we have, we're going to be reaching out to you about availability, but it will be probably around the week of the either 5th or the 12th. That's what we are targeting for.
Thanks.
All right, the next item, catch basin disconnect programs included in the package is the signed task order. We have 38 critically identified catch basins that are still connected to the sanitary sewer system that were identified during the modeling of the collection system master plan that we're looking to disconnect. So this is for professional services for the Brown and Caldwell team to evaluate those 38 catch basins as far as feasibility to disconnect from the system. We're going to be working very closely with DPW engineering to make sure our vision and their vision work hand in hand. We don't want to add or disconnect catch basins that's going to leave a problem where the water doesn't have a place to go. So we're going to do our homework and over the next 6 months, come up with various projects in order to accomplish our goals.
Item 3, we have the Samus and Belle Island Sewer Shed Design Project. Last week, we had a meeting with the consultant to finalize some items. We reviewed the commercial and multi-unit properties, and they were able to incorporate that into the figures and the contract documents. At the end of the month, they'll be submitting the final specifications and GIS figures for us to review. And tentatively, we're hoping for the project to go out to bid in July.
Okay, moving on to the next item, Keeler Brook Pump Station Replacement. WPCA staff this week or last week submitted a ZBA, Zoning Board of Appeals, application for a variance in order to have a one-story facility instead of a two-story facility on Connecticut Avenue. This is due to the high tension power lines above our pump station. The project, the city corporation council and city staff have been working with Eversource to get this project moving forward again, since it got delayed with COVID and among other projects that Eversource had going on. So our goal is to basically replace the Keeler Brook Pump Station, but at a new location on the Eversource property. We received the variance 2-3 years ago for this. And like I said, the project got held up, but it's now moving forward. And all parties are in agreement to move this forward. So that's the update that we have. And we included our professional services with Wright Pierce to within 90 days to complete the design of the pump station, update project drawings and specs, get ready to put out the bid later this year.
So 1 story instead of 2. And you're still high enough out of the flood elevation?
That is correct. We're going to move out of the,
Great.
we're going to move west on the property to get us at a higher elevation. So that way we're above the 100-year flood elevation. We're not located, currently the pump station's in the floodway, and we want to move out of the floodway and get outside the 100-year flood elevation as well.
And you'll still be in Eversource's property. That's great.
Yes, correct.
Thanks.
All right. Now, yeah.
Yep, the next item, we have some slides on the WPCA capital project. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Let me see if I could just share this. Okay. Let me know if you could see my screen. Okay. Great. So on collection system updates, we have the Wall Street, Knight Street relocation and improvements project and the Dreamy Hollow project. On the Wall Street, Knight Street project, the contractor is still revising the plan to abandon the old sewer main under Wall Street. So we're still waiting to hear back on that. The parking lot area where the construction took place has been cleaned up, and that area where the equipment was staged kind of has been limited to a smaller area. So not as much of an impact in that parking lot. For the Dreamy Hollow project, there have been some sanitary sewer improvements on Daphne Drive. So here we see the interior of a sanitary sewer manhole that's been installed, kind of the installation process here. And this is the sanitary sewer manhole with some sanitary sewer piping extending from it. On the pump station projects, we have updates on Karen Drive and the Woodward Avenue pump station. On Karen Drive, the work has been completed, which included architectural, mechanical, and electrical updates in the pump station. Here we see photos of the completed architectural work, which included new architectural siding. So the pump station looks pretty good with the new improvements. On the Woodward Avenue pump station, our consultant is working with the contractor Green Mountain to schedule the lining of 3 pipe segments shown here that were identified to be in poor condition. The contractor is in the process of cleaning the pipe segments, so that's 90% complete. Next, they'll be submitting a bypass plan to bypass these pipe sections to complete the lining. In about 2-3 weeks, we'll know the complete schedule, and it'll be 1 full day's work to complete the lining. We also have our SCADA Phase 3 upgrades that are currently in progress, which include new chemical flow meters, filtrate wet well level instrumentation, new instrumentation in the scum tank, which includes a level indicator mixer and pump. So here we see the new chemical flow meters that have been fully integrated into SCADA. This is the flow rate, not the flow rate, the flow meter for the sodium bisulfite metering pumps, and the flow meters, the 2 flow meters for the sodium hypochlorite metering pumps. On the filtrate wet well, we have a new level instrument shown here. So here you can see the level within the tank. There's also a low and high level alarm that's integrated in SCADA on this tank. We also have new instrumentation on the scum tank that's fully integrated into SCADA. So here we see the level indicator within the scum tank, and also a new submersible mixer and new submersible pump. So those are the updates on the capital improvements. Thanks so much. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Where are we now on E? No questions. We can move to E.
Yep.
It's 5:47.
DEEP has reached out for its Clean Water Fund program for fiscal year 24 and 25, a list of priority projects for municipalities. WPCA staff are preparing Clean Water Fund requests for both the treatment plant, pump station, and collection system. So we have several projects that we're going to put requests in and see how they grade out with DEEP, and hope to get some grant monies in the near future.
Great. No questions. F.
The sewer use fee appeals and adjustments updates. The appeal status is still at 39,693, so that has not changed.
No questions. G.
And the last item is the Town of Wilton sewer invoice for fiscal year 22-23, and it's in the amount of $836,628.82. Previously, the comptroller had invoiced from last year's audited results. This year's invoice in the amount of $106,000 and some change was previously sent out and shared with the board.
Great. Anybody have any other questions? No questions. Any questions on the agenda? Any questions on anything not on the agenda? Our next meeting is June 20th, and we're going to have another special meeting before then.
Just take note, June 20th is a Tuesday. June 19th is a holiday. So we moved it one day later.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn? Thank you. Mr. Burnett gets it. Thank you. It's 5:49. Stop recording. The meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next
everyone.
month.
Thank you.
Have a good week.